got like 3 emails from it yesterday too. Yeah, do that. So we'll go back to Wayne's. I won't be as in depth since he's not here. Um, let's see the next one. A lot of consolidation. Absolutely. Look at this. Jen notices, check it out. They tried 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times to break that resistance and couldn't. And then she gets down triggers, strong side, nothing but room. Jen says, uh-oh, my small triggers rolled against me. Guys, if you say something clever like, uh-oh, my small triggers rolled against me, let me look lower. Or in Jen's case, let me look for an area higher, and then I'll take a close on the correct side of the triggers. Jen, that was your first entry. It's a little tight. I see it. I see you on the S&P too. You actually had about $100 per contract, but you chose not to take it. And you get in on the momentum style trade after the trend trade entry. But look at what she does, guys. Jen, I wish we could blow up your charts. Didn't work, right? You didn't get in, didn't like the room. That's okay. That's your right. And then it turns into the perfect momentum trade. Do you guys see the strong triggers? One of the bar makes a firm break, a clear break. Support behaves as resistance. And Jen, it is the perfect momentum trade. And you ride that momentum down to trouble. I love everything about this trade, Jen. Great patience because you didn't have room. Not trying to prairie dog it right into a next zone. And taking the perfect momentum trade. Guys, if you don't get what you need to enter the market, it's okay to not enter the market. It's okay to sit on your hands. It's okay to relax. You know what? Should I skip Wayne's, Trina? Because he's going to come back and say, hey, Mark, go over him. So I'm going to leave his up. But we're not going to talk about Wayne's yet. And I'll let him be there for the bragging. And that's not an actual chart read. So let's go to Victor. All right, trend trade. I like it. Triggers down. I like it. Price on the strong side. I like it. Man, Victor, that sounds perfect. It's going down. You're on the strong side of triggers and nothing but air. So on the small chart, small triggers roll against you, and the market pulls up right to the midband, gives you a close below, and you said, all right, here we go, trend trade. You get in at 50.38. It gives you about 6 points, about 120 bucks before you ever have anything to run into. Plenty of room to manage a trade, but it doesn't blink. And down it goes, and you're like, you know what? Profitville, population me, 36 was your first target, and then you get out for the second. Nice $710 trade. It's beautiful. Guys, this is your trend trade. If you can't build a career off of trend trades, you're not taking trend trades right. Trend trade again, triggers down, price on the transition side of the triggers, space to the next area. Small triggers roll against it, so he waits, no close below at the area, comes up to the mid-band, to the HVA, and there's the close below. He's in right at 37, gives him tons of room down to 26, and just absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And it took you out because you just passed your evaluation. Nicely done. Can I correct something though, Victor? Are you in here? Passed on 2 of the trades I'm researching. Maybe you're not showing them, but the 2 trades that you've shown have been rules met trend trades. 100%. So I don't know if you're hiding trades, not showing me all of your trades. That's your right. You don't have to. But these are trend trades. But there is no HVA trade. You're adding things, and it's just a trend trade. Everything's down. The path is clear. It's a pullback to the area. It's a close on the correct side of the triggers. That's it. That's all it is. This bar doesn't look like it opened below. I don't know if it did. But you're not in until the close of this bar. So Victor, there's still a misunderstanding going on the trades. Because if you were really taking that pattern, you would be in on this bar when it opened below the HVA. Does that make sense? You're waiting for a close below from an area when the large chart says take a trend trade. It's a trend trade. Cool. We didn't get a chance to talk yesterday afternoon. Maybe you changed your mind on it, but maybe we can sit down and work through this a little bit. All right, Paul, waited for this bar to form. It hasn't opened. The long side is a fake. It is a fake lost top, not long decided, or long not decided yet. So let's just go through the read. The triggers are up, right, Paul? You're on the strong side of them, and you have room to trouble. Can we agree that that's a pretty good chart read for more long, for more up? I believe it is. The market comes up. It breaks through all the trouble. Breaks through all of the trouble. Clear break. Resistance becomes support. It pulls back to it. It closes above triggers. Every indicator says up on your charts, and those sons of guns took you out. You want to know the truth, Paul? You didn't do anything wrong. You had a large chart that set up. You were on the strong side of the triggers. Your path was clear. You let an area break. You let it pull back to the area. You got in on the right side of the triggers. I can't find anything wrong with this trade. Your stop is at 30, which makes sense. It's behind the bar, behind the zone. There's just nothing wrong. It just didn't work. Do I have any 100% victorious traders in this room? Do I have anyone in the room that wins every trade they enter? I don't. Sometimes it doesn't work out. But Paul, thank you for putting it in the room, because now there's no doubt in your mind. The large chart read was correct. The entry was correct. And it just didn't work. And guys, sometimes great trades won't work. And sometimes horrible trades will work. And that's them trying to get you to break your rules. There's two kinds of traders. The ones that lose trades and the ones that lie about losing trades, right? All right, here's a trend trade. Let's see what happened. Triggers are flat. You can't learn if you don't post. And then, Paul, I think sometimes just that reassurance that you were following your plan, because your brain's going to mess with you. If you take a loser, your brain is going to search for the problems. And sometimes there aren't any. Sometimes there just aren't any. Sometimes it's the perfect trade that just doesn't work. All right, so Victor, let's start with your first comment here. Triggers flat. So guys, if they can't figure out what direction they're going, right? If you're like, well, it's not really up and it's not really down. Do you guys see this? Triggers flat. So they're going to the right. They're not really up and they're not really down. Victor, that's your read, right? So three options in the market. I'm going to latch onto this one a little bit. You can buy, you can sell, and guys, if they can't figure out which way they're going, why are you going to try to guess? Or you can wait. But Victor can, and this is for everybody, because a lot of us are like, oh, I want to be first, I want to be first, I want to be first. Smalls above the large, huge amount of space. Can we all agree that these triggers are up pretty darn strong? We'll do this. Pretty darn strong. Triggers are up pretty darn strong, right? So the immediate strength is up. The immediate strength is up, guys. They can't decide, but your small chart is telling you, hey, we are screaming north. Guys, if you have flat triggers, it's going to be easier to go with the momentum on the small chart. The book of Ricky Bobby. The book of Ricky Bobby. So, oh my gosh, where did that go? If you can't decide whether it's up or down, we already saw that one. And Victor, I think I just erased your picture on accident. Thanks, John. You messed me up. If you can't really pick a direction, let that small chart momentum kind of guide you a little bit. Does that make sense, Victor? Because everything here is screaming up. It's coming from a termination. You're on the weak side. The immediate momentum is just glaring to the upside. A little bit of patience. A little bit of patience. Small chart price closes on the right side of the triggers. I wait on the next bar to clear trouble. Started going right direction, then through a quick bar. Yeah. But there's more to it that you didn't talk about it, right? It's not that it needs to be managed aggressively, Victor. So what's the difference, right? So manage aggressively means I have enough to feel like I have an edge, but I will be assertive. And then the other option is I don't feel like I have an edge. I don't know, is taking and managing my best option, right? And I think this is one of those things where you start to weed these out. You start to say, man, with the large triggers vertical, with the small triggers above them, with indecision on the large chart, this is one of those times where the 90% sitting on your hands tends to work out a little bit better. But it's a great lesson because we've all done it. If you've never done it, you will. Don't worry. All right, let's see. We have waited for this bar. Oh, we saw this one. Sorry. All right, we saw that one. There's the calendar. Trend trade. Let's see what we have. Triggers are up. Price is on the strong side of the triggers. Space to the next trouble. You take the pull back to the area. Close on the correct side. Easy trade for 445, right? Easy trade. Nice trade, Victor. That's the easy ones. You want to go up, these are going up. Large are going up. Area's going up. Those are effortless. You did it perfect. Oh, look at that. We got a Ninja Trader user. Strong top, all the momentum in the world, and you jump the fudge in directly into trouble. You get paid at trouble. If it breaks, awesome. If it doesn't, nothing to lose. I love it. Getting in before he gets to trouble. Getting paid at trouble. Protecting himself at trouble. That's a take and manage. Everything's going your direction, take and manage. And then he lets trouble do its thing. And when it gets back below trouble with all that momentum, nothing in the way, boom, down he goes again. Nice job, Pete. Nice job. Jump the fudge in, right? Why not? I got all the momentum in the world and room to align. Jump the fudge in. But don't ignore the line. Great job. And then re-entered when it breaks again. Get paid again. It's not the perfect trade. It's a jump the fudge in trade. Nicely done, Pete. Great management. Trend trade. Triggers are up. Prices on strong side. Man, I get tingles when I hear that. Space to the next area. Picture perfect. Amen. Price pulls back. Closes above. You get in with the close above. And from the strong side, easy peasy lemon squeezy right to trouble. So Victor, I think today's lesson, and guys, this is a good one because Victor did it for you. When it's easy to define direction, it's a lot easier than when you can't. So it's okay. It's okay to kick back, relax, wait for them to decide, And when I say them, who am I talking about? Wait for these guys, the large crowd, your big chart. Force them to tell you what they want to do, and then use that small chart to find an entry, guys. 15-minute is direction, momentum, key targets, and terminations. They do 90% of the heavy lifting. There is a 1-minute chart for entry because the large crowd wins, guys. It's just gospel truth at this point. Momentum, potential to break. Oh, Pete. Just going long directly into a fib. And then you take the trend trade. And I know that you love this, but it never even hints at breaking, right? Never even hints at breaking. And it turns in. And oh, I've said it, but I'm going to say it again because this is your albatross. Those two contracts made zero money, right? Those two contracts were a break-even experience. Just a lot of stress and exposure. If it's directly into the fib, it's all right to wait for the trend trade. Imagine 4 contracts from 78. That's $300 better on this trade and $300 less risk. Guys, if you don't get a clean break, it's all right to wait for the bounce. That's all right. Pete, I don't worry about you. I don't worry about you. You know what you're doing. But that's old Pete coming in, trying to be right at the top of that move. Let those bars break a little bit. It's gonna make your life easier for sure. Good stuff so far this morning, guys. Everything we do. Let me figure out where we're at. Everything that we do is momentum, path, and entry, guys. Let the large chart tell you what direction they're going. Does everybody see that the triggers are down? The direction is down. I'm left of the triggers, which means I'm on the strong side. And I've got room to trouble, which means I'm going to look for a short trade. Doesn't look like one is set up yet. So we're in a waiting. We're in a holding pattern. Same thing on the S&P, guys, or the NASDAQ. The triggers are down. I'm on the strong side, but I've got nowhere to run yet. I'm directly into a zone. All right, let me figure out. Paul, I believe you are next. Market has been in a zone. Triggers are opening up. 15-minute transition. Clear path to the zone. 2 contracts at the zone. Forgot to separate. Put outlier at pink 1-to-1s. Dang it. That's okay. There's your entry. There's getting out of trouble. Nice. $460 trade. Do you know what's awesome, guys? When you make almost $500 over the course of 3 minutes and you still follow it up with dang it. That's when you know you're into something good. That's when you know the trades are powerful. They made the new, I imagine they did. There's a lot of sites down right now. Paul, I love everything about this, and I love even more that you said, dang it, I only made 460. Dang it, says the man. I only made 460. John Novak, everything says down. Let's go long. I hope it worked. But look at his entry chart though. All right, trickle down economics. Let me see if I can make it a little. Termination on the big chart leads the way. It was strong for more profits, right, Paul? But seriously, are you bummed about 460? I love that you are. I love you're like, damn it, only $460 in 1, 2, 3 minutes. You're a high-priced lawyer, my friend. So John starts with a termination condition. I like it. He follows it up with a termination condition on his middle chart. I mean, he's just saying, holy crap, this market can't go down anymore, or it's less likely to because of all these terminations. And then look at this on a small chart. First, it comes from the termination. Everything rolls, small's above the large, pull back to the HVA area, and he's in right at the best spot for long. And he's directly into trouble with a lot of down. I don't know. I might protect myself there. I don't feel like hope is good, right? If he gets through 760, it's home free. So this is where if John were a student of mine, I would say, John, it says down. John, it's iffy. It does say up, but you have 1, 2, 3 lines of trouble before you ever get to where you need to be home free, and you're fighting triggers down, and they've been down strong for a while. That's a daily chart, right? They may test, they may bounce. Great entry. I hope that made sense, John Novak. I'm going to coach you to the promised land one day. All right, Miss Trina, the triggers are down. You're on the strong side. You've got room. There's your pullback. It goes above a little bit. You get in. Target here because of the chart zone. 62. I'm not sure how you timed your entry, Trina. I see that you took one, but with strong triggers up, coming from the termination, and you're already beyond the area. So your resistance here has already become support, and you just traded directly back into it, right? It's 62.1. And I'm glad you got paid. But at this point, you're not following rules for a trend trade. It's a tough trade. I'm glad you came out of it with a little money in your pockets. That's the same kind of idea on Victor earlier. You've already reached your target. The triggers are trying to roll. It's the immediate strength is overwhelmingly up. Sometimes we get away with one, guys. Sometimes we get away with one. Trina, that may be the instance here. All right, Z-Robot. Missed 3 entries for base hit trend trades. When you say pull back to mid-run, mid-band with overrun or slippage, slippage is a term, guys. So slippage means I went short, but the market was moving so fast, I got filled at a different price. That's what slippage is, Z-Robot. Does that make sense? You'll see that in a market that is really, really moving. This is just the buyers pushing up to the next level. So you said that you missed 3 trend trade entries. You've got, let's see if we can figure out why. Rinse and repeat trend trades. So Z-Robot, are you with me? Let's see if we can make this a little more legible. So you're below trouble. You don't have the strongest triggers. Are you not in here? And there's no areas inside of triggers. So I don't have entry rules. And the mid-band's floating on the wrong side of the triggers, guys. If you sell the mid-band, you get run over, right? If you use a reversal bar, you have a fighting chance. If you sell the mid-band, you get run over. If you use a reversal bar, you have a fighting chance. If you sell the mid-band, you get run over. If you use a reversal bar, you have a fighting chance. I notice you're not using Renko bars. I'm not sure why. The methodology is designed around Renko bars, and I don't know how your change of bar structure affects it. I'm not sure why you're not getting any tails. I'm not sure why we can get these outliers like this. John Novak worked really hard to make things pretty and efficient. That was a short trade directly into a termination condition. I see everything, right? That was a short trade. without a lot of momentum maybe, but it works out. Good stuff. It's overrun. Once you get to the wrong side of the triggers, ladies and gentlemen, you don't know if, when, or where that market's going to continue. Trend trade, price in transition. Triggers up, price in transition. Space to the next area, so manage on the one chart. Small chart, entered the trade on the third bar after closing on the right side since I was butting trouble. That was too late. I should have not entered this trade. Kicked my butt pretty quickly. Oh, when will I learn to stay out of this no advantage trade? So transition, room to trouble. Pulls all the way back to the entry. There's your close above, directly into the midband. And then the midband does create a big ugly bounce, doesn't it? The area never breaks, Victor. Prairie dog, once again. So now we're starting to see a pattern, guys. And this is one of the things posting in my room will do for you. Your brain says, I'm above trouble. But trouble never breaks. Neither does the midband. And it just sends it railing back a little bit, right? There's no momentum to push it. It might be a different story with odds favorable momentum up, but it's actually odds favorable momentum down. So your immediate momentum is screaming to the downside. That prairie dog's less likely to work. Yeah. Do you guys know what I mean when I say prairie dog? Prairie dogs are notorious for peeking their little heads out of trouble, right? They're like, hey, look, here we are. And the term prairie dogging is them just getting a little bit above that little idea of safety, right? Oh, right there. Hawk can still swoop down and rip their heads off. That's a horrible image, but it's not safe, right? It's not safe. It's perceived safety. So Victor, that's good though, because now we're starting to recognize that thing that gets you, right? That look that, and guys, we all have it. We all fall for something. Mine is typically brunettes, but we all fall for something that seems appealing, but maybe isn't. Odds favorable momentum, guys. Separation between the small and large. Absolutely nothing in the way. Jump the fudge in. Quick 11 tick base hit before momentum goes away. Don't usually go with a fib in the way, but with that level of momentum, followed by price down, base hits beat time clocks. Amen. Yeah, my wife is definitely a brunette, Victor. Definitely a brunette. Guys, this is the perfect jump in because of momentum and path. And then it actually turned into the perfect momentum trade in the middle of it, Ron. And it just screams down. And it's a great trade, and it's all based on that momentum and path, guys. And if you're on NinjaTrader, the idea of momentum is a very simple concept. It is nothing more than a separation of the small and large with everything going the same direction. This is the look that lets me know that the odds are favorable for the market to continue in the direction of trends. This is the look that is mandatory for breaking areas. This is the look that fighting typically results in losses. And when you have it, it's pretty easy to find a way to make money. Nicely done, Ron. John says, so far so good on this long. Open that link. There we go. So far so good on the long. So great entries create manageable trades, guys. It's a true fact. And John, remember when we said, oop, that could be trouble. There's a big bounce, right? That's terrifying for a lot of us. For John saying, they're putting in a bottom. I love it. Let's go to the promised land, 40 contracts. And I still don't know that I would leave. There's a pivot, new stop, off it goes, and just going to ride the wave, right? Look at his middle chart, not the daily chart. I don't know what size this is. 15-minute maybe? Maybe a 4-hour, but it is up, it is strong, and it is clear of trouble. John, great trade. Great trade. Guys, this is a little more advanced, but it's good. All right, we made it through all of them. Whoa, look at the reaction off of support. Egads and little fishes. So let's do a large chart read real quick. Let's just freeze everything. Blow it up, make it pretty. Reading the large chart. What do you guys see? What direction are my triggers? You guys are going to play along because if we get rules met, we're pulling the trigger. Are those small triggers going up or down, my friends? They are down. Awesome. Am I on the strong side? Am I inside in transition? Or am I on the weak side? And here's my most current price right there. Perfect. I'm on the strong side. So let's talk about what they mean to us as well. If it's down, I'm looking for shorts based on the KISS plan. If it's strong, whoops. 1 minute areas most likely to break. Best look for bigger moves, right? And now here's the final question, guys. Do I have room? This zone could stop a market the same way it did up here. If I'm inside of the zone, guess what? I don't have room. And if I don't have room, I don't have rules for entry. Is everybody with me there? This is your large chart read every time. It's the same thing every time. What's the direction and what does it mean to me? Where am I in relationship to the most current price and what does it mean to me? Do I have room and what does it mean if I don't have room? It means, blah, who cares about this chart? But you can start, oh my goodness, look what we just avoided, my friends. Congratulations. Good job. That's how you don't take losers. Do you guys see that little prairie dog? Oh, it broke below. I'm going to jump in. What did it do? It said, no, stop. That's not your highest chance of success. Way to go. Let's go to gold. All right, let's see what gold says. Bum, 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 bum. It's almost a trick question. Guys, are those triggers up or down? Flat. What does flat mean to you, Trina? If they can't decide, why the heck am I trying, right? That's it. If they can't figure it out, why am I going to try to figure it out? All right, so let's go through it for funsies, though. If we call them up, then are we on the weak, strong, or transition? I'm going to show you guys how opinions come into trading. So they're still up, right? Because they haven't rolled down, so I'm on the weak side. Okay. So do I have room to targets? If I take a trade here? Oh, I do, don't I? If we're calling them up and there's room, I got tons of room to trouble. Now watch this. What direction is the immediate strength? Well, you still have room. From 69 to 78 is $900. $900. So we're good. Awesome. If I decide I'm going to look for a long trade, the immediate strength is strong down, right? They've already overrun my areas. The market is screaming down. So if it's flat or if it's weak, then this is where reversals come from. Do I want to fight strong triggers down? Only you can answer this. But if today's posts are any indication, from the weak side of flat triggers, fighting the immediate strength hasn't worked out yet today, right? So we can get a baseline that says it's going to be a fight. Well, it even adjusted, so we didn't have room. If we're going to fight it, that's your close above right there. Now there's no room right to the outer band. So your close above at 77 was directly into trouble with the immediate strength down. So there wasn't a trade to be had. There was no room by the time it finally gave an entry if you're going with the up triggers. One of the things about these flatter triggers, guys, is that you can see them flatten out 10 times in a big move. So if you're going to take the trade, if you're going to go long because they are up, make sure your small chart's perfect, right? Give yourself the highest chance of success. That outer band, as Trina said, that was your trouble. And look where it's bouncing with the immediate strength down from the weak side of the triggers, directly from trouble. So good read. That's a tough read. Whoop. All right. They broke below. Down, strong, directly into trouble. All right. Let's look at some NinjaTrader. On NinjaTrader, it's a little bit different for you guys that are in here and you're working with this one. Direction is defined by the color of the background. It's either down, which is red, or it's up. Momentum is defined simply with a look on the triggers that is a separation between the small and large. If you can see daylight between the small and large, rule number one is met. You have the advantage of momentum. Your path is determined the same way. You either have a clear path or you don't. And guys, there's nothing in the way until all the way down here at 66.20. Do you guys see it? The momentum is down. The path is clear. That's those two core concepts. But entry is a very specific phrase for the highest probability trend trade. In Z-Robot, if you're in here, this is kind of where you are at. So guys, when the large chart has momentum, as this one does, when the large chart has a clear path, as this one does, I can define my entry on the small chart. And the highest probability trend trade entry says that I will, in this case, since it's down, I will sell a pullback. A pullback is a small move that's counter to the underlying trend. So the entry on NinjaTrader is literally letting your small chart pull up. And I'm going to sell that pullback at an area. And when we say areas, we mean fibs, we mean mid bands, we mean yellow 1-to-1s. And this is where new users tend to forget the last phrase, because there is a mid band right there. But the key to the success, my friends, on NinjaTrader is that area, all caps, inside of triggers. These large triggers, large and synthetic, define where the retracement, where the pullback is most likely to go. If you have an area inside of them, you have the perfect trade. Once you get to the wrong side of the triggers, above the triggers, you don't know if, when, or where that market may continue down. And they're just killing it, right? So this is the one that we were looking at. And look at how far they blew through everything. And now we have the exact same thing. No areas inside. And look at how far they're blowing through everything. Did a take and manage on this one. Everything is down, getting below. They almost scared the heck out of you. And you make a little money. Nicely done, Ron. But guys, do you see it? When we talk about rules, there's a perfect scenario. The perfect scenario, the beginner's scenario, the highest probability scenario is when you can define momentum utilizing those strong triggers, when you can identify a clear path, making sure that there are no lines in your way, guys. And to define a clear path, you have to not be trading. Where is my picture? I've got so many pictures. Into an area. Not trading into Fibonacci, not trading into yellow one-to-ones, not trading into divergence highs on that large chart. But momentum and path is only 2/3 of the equation, guys. When you have momentum and path, where are my pictures? For a high probability trade, you have to have a definable entry that gives you an edge, that gives you an advantage. And for the high probability trend trade, the language is incredibly specific. Pull back to an area inside of triggers. And when you can define momentum, when you can define your path, when you can find the best of the best entry, guys, it's a trade that typically wins 70 to 80% of the time. When you lose one advantage, you go into medium probability scenario, guys. Maybe you don't have the best momentum, but your path is clear and the entry is definable. Now you're in a medium probability scenario. And guys, we're talking about trend trades here. When two of them go away, things get bad. Things look different, guys. It's not the same look. And you don't have to get caught up in the shenanigans. And now we've got momentum, and we do have path, and my only area is above those trigger lines. Do you guys see it? The momentum is strong, separation between the small and large. The path is clear. They still haven't made it to the blue Fibonacci area, but my only area is sitting just above those trigger lines that define the retracement. Guys, I don't know if this midband is going to hold. And the more it pushes down, the further it gets away. And this is a live chart read, guys. This is what you're going to do every time. First, I have momentum. Then it's a clear path. And then I need an area inside of triggers. And if I don't have it, I don't have the perfect trade. Now, if they pull all the way back up to the midband, some of you will say, I'll take this trade with a reversal bar, with a confirmation bar. But the rules aren't met. Here I don't have the best momentum. I do have a clear path. And I do have an entry, which means if I choose to take an entry at an area inside of triggers, I have to manage it assertively because I don't have the momentum to push the market. But guys, look at this right here. All the momentum, the potential to break, and areas inside of triggers. And look at the bounce. Pretty cool, right? It's the same thing. Every day it's the same thing. It's momentum, path, and entry, guys. So when we talk about getting good with the software, this is for my new users. We're going to back it up a little bit. Strong triggers provides momentum. This is your first advantage. If you're on NinjaTrader, if you're new with me here, Gramps, I see ya. Moham, I see ya. This is your strong trigger look, and I've taken 50 pictures. 50 pictures of what it means to have strong triggers. They are annotated, they are very, very clear, and it's the same look every time because this is the look, the description that lets you know that rule number one is met. Guys, you've got to commit this to memory. This is the one that pushes the market. This is the one that breaks areas. This is the one that's hard to stop. Once you understand what it means to have the rule met, I think it's equally as important to understand weakness when the advantage isn't present, when the smalls are inside of the large, when the odds aren't favorable for the market to continue up, because this is where big, ugly retracements from nowhere tend to happen. And then you've got to be able to define when there's nothing in the way. That's when the rule is met. You've got to be able to define when there is something in the way. Termination conditions, guys. There's about 80 pictures of them here because this is the most broken rule. This is the one that requires the most patience. And then high probability trend trade entries. It's just a pattern that's repeatable every day. Go learn the pattern. There's over 500 pictures of what it looks like to have the perfect trade. The same pattern, guys. So all of these tools are present You've just got to be able to say, this is my best look. And if you're not sure what your best look is, if you're on TradingView, you've been handed a plan. I'll hand it again. It was in the zip file I put in the room earlier. Guys, this plan is a stepping stone in your learning journey, and it's designed to teach you how to read your indicators so that you can recognize advantages. And these trades are designed to optimize your chances of success. And then through study, simulation, class feedback, and practice, you're going to write your own plan. Some of you are in the process of doing that right now. This is a great example of somebody writing their own plan based on momentum and path, but finding other ways to capitalize. Ron C. created the chili dog. It's his baby. It's a great trade, and it's his trade. And it's based on his understanding of the best trade, of the momentum of the path, guys. So your KISS plan for TV teaches you how to read your 15-minute chart, everything that we talked about, what direction are the triggers going, where am I? It shows you where to find them. It shows you the entry for a trend trade. It even gives you a checklist for entry, guys. If these rules are met on TradingView for the rest of the day, we're going to take the trade. We're going to manage it. We're going to see if we can make a little pretend money for educational purposes. That was just dropped in the room for you. Oh, that's TradingView as well. Whoops. Where's my Ninja Trader plan? Cancel. Just don't save. My Ninja Trader plan, guys, we're going to do the same thing. It's designed to optimize your chances of success, to give you the absolute best trade, to show you where to find your rules, show you what it looks like to have your rules. You have a checklist for entry, guys. Nobody in the history of this checklist has ever been able to follow it to the letter and present less than 70% winners. I'm still waiting for somebody, because if you do the work to follow it, you're probably not going anywhere. TradingView, I ran this one precisely for a week. 100%, and I was at 73% winners. It's historical, right? But that's where my week ended up. Guys, it tells you how to get in, how to manage. If the rules are met for either of these plans in the live market, we'll take the trade. This particular trade does not have the advantage of momentum, so I'm obligated as the instructor of the room to not enter at areas inside of triggers. It doesn't fit my plan. If you did the study to recognize, to say I could take this trade and manage it, most of you are in at 59.53 and on your way to profits, right? So it depends on where you're at. Pete says, check it out, Mark. With strong triggers, with the potential to break, there's his trend trade, there's his profits, there's his management. I love it. And then it pulls back for another trend trade, and Pete says, golly, gee, let's get paid twice. And John Novak, you're absolutely right. It's a nice looking trade. Large chart leads the way. You'll find a way. And Pete goes a little bit outside of high probability sometimes because he has the repetition, guys, because he's taken the pictures, because he's presented in the room, because he's gotten the feedback. Pete does outstanding things with the software. 2 out of 3, take and manage. Guys, it is still going down. Hopefully somebody in the room caught that. There's momentum. Uh-oh. There's momentum. It missed me. I was late. Clear path. It pulled right back to an area inside of triggers, and down it goes. Son of a gun. We were looking at Pete's charts and we missed it. Oh, and it just did it again. Got to be fast when the market's screaming. Do you guys see it though? First it's momentum, then it's a clear path, then it's a pullback to an area inside of triggers, and guys, the trades don't get any easier than that. And remember up here when we said, man, there's nothing in the way until 66.20, they made it, and they bounced, and they broke. And there was probably a trade there as well. I hope my S&P traders are making some money today because they're giving it away like an ATM. Now I'm on the wrong side of the triggers. I don't know if, when, or where the market's going to continue down. But if you wait for that confirmation bar, you have a fighting chance. Guys, I'm going to take 5 minutes real quick. Going to go stretch my legs, refill my water. When I come back, this is what we're going to do. We're going to pick one market on Ninja Trader. Do you guys want to watch crude oil or the S&P? You tell me. And we're going to pick one market on TradingView. And you guys tell me, do you want NASDAQ, do you want S&P, or do you want gold? And what we're going to do, the ES is moving better. So we'll do Ninja Trader, S&P. And then since we're doing the S&P, let's do the NASDAQ. We might get a little more. We'll watch the NASDAQ on TradingView. And guys, the whole deal is if the rules are met per the KISS plan, I will enter. And if they are not, I will sit on my hands. And you guys are about to realize that 90% of your day is sitting on your hands and doing nothing, waiting for the perfect opportunity. So I'm going to take a quick digression. I'll be back in just a minute. I'm going to mute. It's nothing but live trading. You guys post in the room if you got them. Get all the feedback. Ask a million questions. But let's go through the NASDAQ read. Small triggers are down. I am on the strong side of the small triggers. And if I took an entry right now, I would have room to 416 to take a trade. But the challenge is I don't have any areas. I don't have any areas to pull back to. It hasn't happened. I would need to see this market pull up back to something solid and then continue down. Does that make sense, everybody? So if my rules aren't met, I have two options. My options are either to wait and wait or to break my rules and hope. So for me, I'm just going to wait. We'll come back. Damn it, we did it again. S&P. Man, look at that. Termination condition stops the market, turns the market, odds favorable momentum. That was a quick pullback. That actually would have resulted in a loser right there, but that one fit the plan. S&P's going crazy, isn't it? Momentum. No clear path. Nothing to do. That's it. It really is that easy, guys. I have momentum. Now I have the potential to break. If I'm going to take a trade, it comes from an area inside of triggers. If divergence prints, it pulls it out of the equation, guys. They're coming to take your golf cart in for its yearly physical. Awesome. What are you going to hang out of and scream at people from? Have a great afternoon, Ron. So, guys, I want to go over the KISS plan rules real quick. For a medium probability trade with the potential to break, 3 out of my 4 large triggers have to be through the area for me to have my rules met. And guys, I want you to remember, this plan is based, your pool runs year round, nice, on the best case scenario. So do me a favor, if you're in this room, you can hear the sound of my voice, give me a why. If you understand that the best case scenario is not the only scenario, but for education purposes, we're going to keep it very, very basic, and then we'll talk about the outliers. 3 out of 4 triggers must be through. It must be from a strong top or bottom. Both charts must be strong, and there cannot be divergence to get me to pull the trigger on the potential to break. Must be strong triggers, must be no terminations, must be an area inside. That's the only way I will pull the trigger. Straight to the termination condition. And now we're going the other direction, right? So we'll watch the S&P for a minute, guys. I do have momentum, but I've only got 2 triggers through. I still have momentum. I need these to creep. Oh, come on, creepers. Now I've got 3 triggers through. If there is no divergence on the pullback, my entry is a pullback at an area inside of triggers. And if I get an entry, my stop belongs above these triggers where the market should not go. And those sons of guns missed us by a tick. Maybe they'll come back for us without divergence. Still have momentum, still have the potential to break, still have areas inside of triggers. I mean, come on. I just need a reversal bar, guys. Come and get me. Now it's odds favorable momentum. Now it's a clear path. Now it's an area inside of triggers. I don't care if divergence prints. All I need is for that small crowd to come grab hold of me right at a mid-band inside of triggers. Are you guys with me? This is how fast trading goes. And now my areas are on the wrong side of the triggers, guys. Now I don't have entry rules met. Some of you got a couple ticks below that mid band and maybe found an opportunity. And guys, that was about it. Some of you jumped in with all the momentum and just chili dogged it. I didn't get my rules met. I didn't take a trade. I'll wait for the next trade. Guys, this is what the S&P has done in the last 15 minutes. I feel good about our chances of another opportunity. But you guys want to see something amazing? Weak triggers at Fibonacci, reversal, weak triggers at Fibonacci. Oh, it didn't work out. Right to Fibonacci, and that's where they pushed back down. Guys, somebody knows about these lines. Took a short and it crashed. Oh, no. And now we're at support. We just got to wait for a second. And my rules say pull back to an area, close below the triggers. Guys, my only option for a trade in the NASDAQ right now is going to be from somewhere up here around a mid-band. Andy, odds favorable, 3 triggers through. It didn't get you, those sons of guns. Broke rule number 3. But Andy, you broke it with everything in your favor. You get paid at trouble, get stopped out. All of the clear path, none of the momentum, pulls back, no entry. Again, broke rule number 3. It goes up to trouble. Andy, it's great heads up trading. You're on Tradeovate as well? Right on. But Andy, look how you broke rule number 3. You got in with everything going your way. You got in on the correct side of small triggers. You did a good job breaking rule number 3, if I could say so. Just in a holding pattern. And we love you back. Termination for the win. Holy smokes. Mid-band is behaving as a termination condition because the large triggers are a full bar away, guys. I've got no shorts. I don't have longs yet. We're in a holding pattern. Does anyone in the room speak their rules out loud the way I do, the way I'm doing in this classroom? Get in the habit. Your brain will believe you. I have momentum. Mid-band is no longer a termination condition. Look at the risk on this. Well, it is because we're a full bar away. You do it in your head. Trina, say it out loud. Have you guys ever heard, there's a theory, right? Like, and it's used a lot in self-speak. If you call yourself an idiot, eventually you believe yourself. You believe that you're an idiot. If you call yourself an asshole, your body believes it. What you say, your body believes. If you get to a point to where you are screaming out loud, I have momentum. My path is clear, right? Oh, my path is no longer clear. Stop. You're telling your body, it's good. We're getting there. It's almost there. 2 triggers through, not 3 triggers through. Doesn't fit my rules. I'm not even looking over here. I'm looking for that 3rd trigger to break. I'm looking for that large trigger. Boom, there it is. Now it's only the potential to break. I can't have divergence. That's what my rules say. I've already had it. It's okay. The market gets better all the time. Now it's momentum. Now it's a clear path. Triple dog dare you to give me an entry before you hit that fib. Son of a gun. Man, it's moving, right? It's moving. Speaking of the pre-flight checklist, for any pilots, this is always out loud. They call it cigar controls, instruments, gasoline, ailerons, radio. Jerry's a pilot in here. He probably knows it. Okay, guys, we're officially strong trending, but I don't have what I need to look for an entry. Not yet. Triggers down, strong side. You were below everything. Entry after a white paint bar. Okay, so you just jumped in and you just jump out. Make money. Nice job. Everything is screaming down, Andy, and you said, I'm just going to jump the fudge in and make some money. I love it. Strong side, nothing in the way. You just jumped in. Wayne's a pilot. He does that too. John, they made it. Nice trade, John. Oh, they stopped you out on the low and then went. Pilots make good traders. Look at that. Weak triggers. Oh my gosh. The momentum is down, but the path isn't clear. Guys, I don't remember a time when the market was moving this fast. There's your pullback, so let's go through the read. Watch this, because I know that there's not rules met. Direction is down, right? Does everybody see it? I froze it in time for you. Direction is down, only looking for shorts. That's what it means to me. I'm in the transition. We're just going to call it trans, which means manage. And do you guys see from 57 down to 40, I have room back to trouble if I go short. That's the part I want you guys to see. From where my entry would be, I've got room back to 40. I've got room all the way down here. That's the read. So what do we need? I need a close on the correct side of the small triggers from an area to see if they want to continue down. 4 lot. Now we're on the weak side, right? Now we've got odds favorable momentum up from the weak side after a termination condition. Have we learned any lessons today? If we take a shot, you better have your management hat on because I'm on the weak side, right? Because I've already hit some targets. There's some 1-to-1s right there at 78 I don't want to trade into. I can trade from them though. And guys, I've got 49 seconds before I know whether or not I get a close on the correct side of the triggers. 49 seconds. How we doing? Oh, Wayne, we talked all the mess in the world about you. I saved your charts, but I think I accidentally closed them out so we could get some feedback on it. And guys, now I just don't have anywhere to go. Just didn't set up. But that's okay, right? 12, 11, 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If I sell it, because the rules are met, my stop goes above the pivot high. That's $5,000 worth of risk. Holy smokes. Where's trouble? Trouble is right here from the weak side, which is virtually not a lot of distance, right? That's an 8 lot. Does it make sense? First it's down, then it's transition, then it's a close below. Because it's transition weak side, that's my first sign of trouble, guys. Oh, and it tapped it and didn't fill it. Son of a gun. Son of a gun, it tapped it and didn't fill it. Would it be okay to exit if that happens? Those sons of guns. Maybe they'll come take us for 9 grand. Oh, it was an accident. I double tapped it, Pete. I want to focus on the rules though. Down, transition, room back to trouble, close on the correct side of the triggers, and I put my target at trouble, and guys, they smacked right into it, but didn't give me the fill on my 8 lot. This is where in a real life scenario, I would have been out of that trade. When it hit my target, I would have already moved to break even to protect myself. But we're going to let it run out, guys. We're going to let it do what it does. Maybe there's a lesson in here. Notice that it's strong triggers up still, but our stop is where the market shouldn't go. Now we're above the 1-to-1, so we're going to talk management. Well, it was trading below the zone, and it had room to the zone, Paul. From 62 to 38, 48, 58, I had 14 points before I got to trouble. Do you see it, Paul? Had 14 points before I got to trouble. It's going to stop us out. I would be surprised if it didn't. Guys, that is why from weak in transition you get paid at trouble. Stops where the market shouldn't go. Market flow long signal trigs up is a good exit. I agree 100%, John. But we're letting them run out because we're talking about entries. We're talking about entry rules. We're talking about targets. Well, we closed below the 1-to-1s, John. We had room to the zone. It tapped our target at the zone, but didn't fill. But we're having conversations in the room, guys, and we're talking about everything. The triggers are down, right? Now the small triggers are better. I still have room back to trouble. It still didn't go where the market shouldn't go. It doesn't mean that we're going to get a winner, but nothing has really changed in the trade with the exception of the small triggers are now in the direction of my trade. Does anyone see anything different? And guys, if you're on simulator, if you're practicing, if you're getting kind of, and now you can put your stop behind the other pivot, save $2,000. Let them play out, guys. Let them play out. Wait and see what happens. Annotate your charts. Talk about what you would do, what you might do. Let John Novak come in here and just talk about it. So, John, one of the things, and because these are 15-minute bars, if you have room back, because it's so slow, taking and managing, we know that it's hit it. We have entry rules met, but they come back and retest these 15-minute zones so often that you'll find that there's a ton of opportunity. Guys, look at this. Now the triggers are down. They're below everything. Come on, hit it again, you son of a gun. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. The retest of the zone. Pretty cool, right? That was your trend trade. I didn't mean it to be an 8 lot, but that was a $4,000 trade. So the idea is that we're following the large chart, and if there's room, the rules are met. If there's a pullback to an area, the rules are met. If there's a close below and room to that trouble, the rules are met, guys. This is what simulator's for. Start taking those trades. Look at our exit at 37.50. Look where the market stopped, 34.25. We saw it, we knew about it, we followed the plan, we made some money. Are there any questions about what we just did? Everything was down, weak side of the triggers, close on the correct side of the small, right at the areas, room to get to trouble, and we got there. I love it. This is what we do, my friends. Smalls are up, large are down. I don't have momentum. There is no trade here. We'll watch it for a second. Victor, what did you do? Victor said, trend trade, triggers down. Yep. Price on the weak side, so manage accordingly. I'm going to assume you know what that means. Space to the next trouble area. Close on the correct side of the triggers. Notice your stop loss, it was about 1,000, not comfy with that. So got out with profit, 490. You got lucky. The trading gods are here with me. It fit the rules. It fit the rules. Nicely done. I'll take 500. You know it's not perfect. Manage quick. Get paid. Nobody ever went broke making $500 at a time. Trina, I see you pulling back. I see you hiding stuff. All right. Triggers are down. You're on the strong side. There's room to trouble. There's your pullback to the area. Your close is at 60, Trina. You're in 5 points later. 5 points later. This was your close below. Do you see it? It's 60 and change. $500 worth of movement. And one of the things that you'll notice is that these large triggers, when they're up against you, odds favorable momentum, they behave a little bit as support. And they did. They pushed you right back to the zone. There was your close below, again at 59. And where did it go from there, Trina? $59. Nope, that was into one-to-ones. And then it just starts pushing up. But there's the idea that John Novak was talking about again at 58, 57. That was trouble. Did you have it on your large chart? You didn't have it on your large chart. So we have a little different zones. It's a good look. It's a late entry, and because it was a late entry, you didn't really have much time to manage. Does that make sense? Awesome. And guys, this is where you're going to hear that phrase in this room a lot. Great entries create manageable trades. Great entries reduce risk. Great entries maximize profit potential. And that's one of the reasons why we talk so intently on entries so often in this room. Learn those entries. Learn how to identify momentum. Recognize where you're at with the path. And understand that if your path isn't clear, guys, this divergence is one of the biggest killers of the potential to break. And there's another example of it happening. So now we have strength. We don't have a clear path. Trina, where did I miss two of them? Can you help me out and repost them? I'm just a man. I apologize for that. I never miss your stuff on purpose, guys. Boaz, momentum, potential to break, pull back to the mid-band inside of triggers, and just easy money all the way down. I did miss that one. I remember missing that one. I'm sorry, Trina. Thank you for doing that. I never miss your charts on purpose, guys. But sometimes in the heat of the moment, I miss a post every now and then. Guys, remember we said that was the one. Boaz says, with this look, it's more likely to go down. I'll get it a little late. And just boom, great trade, Boaz. Keep them coming, guys. We're going to do a Hall of Fame today. We're going to do... Oh, Trina, I got you. I got you. I got you. Sorry. You're amazing for being willing to do it, though. Let's see what we have. Up, strong, and room to target. I agree. So you're using the one-to-ones. So did the one-to-ones ever break, Trina? I can't see what happened before them. Did the one-to-ones actually break, or did the market just close above them? Because that's the big thing. You say small pullback. Was it coming from up here? This is where a little more information would help me. Because it does come above. And then it pulls back again, and then it just runs, right? Not sure if it broke, and that's probably the difference there. Because if it did what it looks like it was doing, it never broke. That's that prairie dog thing again, right? You are on the strong side, but you don't really have the momentum to push it. And you're absolutely right. It's right into an outer band. And then it comes back and it gives you the re-entry. And there's a target. And there's a target. And you just don't believe it. And you finally get out over here. And you're holding for the long one. I like it. It's not a bad trade. Let it break. I'm telling you. So Trina, you did an awful lot with us on Renko bars, right? Let me see if I can find a good example. So do you remember the idea, Trina, that when price breaks, here it is right there, when price breaks resistance, resistance becomes support? And that is the perfect visual. So this is the idea on TradingView, is in order for an area to be considered broken, you really do have to get below it. And look at that, it's still going down with the triggers. And I'm looking for a good example because I think we saw one just a minute ago. This is it right here. This is the one I was thinking of. So price comes down and reaches what is behaving as support. Just because you get a bar below, just because that bar closes below, this area never broke. And look what happens. It pulls right back to the areas that did. And with all that momentum, they behave as resistance. Pretty cool, right? And I think this is one of the biggest mistakes that new users make on TradingView, is believing that that little peeking the head means that it's broken. Now let's look at the other side of it. Here price pulls back to the one-to-ones, price pulls back to the zone. That's your close below the small triggers from the area that you're trading from. And that's a big difference. If I pull back to an area, let's reset and get over. If I pull back to an area and I'm trading from the area, I can do that. That's a close on the correct side of the triggers from the area. Does that make sense? Do you guys see the difference? I'm trading from this area. I'm not hoping this area breaks to put me in a trade. Does that make sense? In my head, it makes sense. I want to make sure that's clear for you guys. I'm not hoping that these one-to-ones hold. I'm really hoping, or I'm not hoping that they break. I'm hoping that they hold. And then the difference is here you're hoping that something breaks. Good stuff. Good lesson there, guys. Oh, Wayne, are these the one from earlier? Thank you. Post anything you want feedback on. We were going to go back to those. Up, transition, room to trouble. What's your area here? You're using the HVA as an area, Trina? Cool. So the HVAs are not areas for entry unless it's a momentum trade. It's just a green line. You want something solid. You want these one-to-ones. You want a mid-band, right? And it looks like it bounced off of the area and continued up. So this is that in space. And even though there's the same way this green line isn't a spot for up, this red line's not a spot for down unless the rules are met. It's used for momentum trades, for HVA trades, but trend trades are going to come from one-to-ones, they're going to come from zones, they're going to come from mid-bands. That's a good lesson. I like your line of thinking there. I really do. And that's a very fixable mistake, and you'll probably never make it again, which means that you won't have to take those big losses. Good stuff. Zones, one-to-ones, and mid-bands. So when we talk about the entry, this is where I like checklists. And I'll give you this in case you want to print it out. Buy or sell a pullback at a 1 minute area, a zone, a one-to-one, or a mid-band. So it's pretty specific. And guys, if I omit a word and you add it, you're changing it, yeah. And I believe, and I want to make sure because now I'm nervous, one-to-one, mid-band, zone, or area. Cool. So it says it on the checklist as well. I think one of the things that happens, and Trina, you're awesome for posting this, is this is what the rule says, This is my perception of the rule, and sometimes it's mistaken, or this is my version of the rule, and it's not the highest advantage. And we just find that sometimes. So when you guys post in the room, clarity comes quickly. Clarity comes quickly. Um, because we'll see it, we'll identify it, we'll talk about it, we'll talk about a solution, and then we get to all move forward. Indecision, 3 bars, flat in a zone. Yeah. What's your large chart say there? 66, 72. Who knows? They don't even line up. So, um, Wayne, if you're waiting for a short, hell, that's pretty good, right? Yeah, but this is trading at 4,000. This is trading at 6,600. I'm not even sure those are the same market. This looks like the S&P. That looks like gold over here. I would double check your settings. Of course, it looks like you transposed it over. So 2 very different markets. But this wasn't, right? This was gold trading in the 4,000s. But this was S&P. I guess the point I'm trying to make is, how can you use the large chart for an entry over here? You're right, it's flat in a zone 100%. But it may not be indecision. It may be a pullback to an area when the large chart says down and you're just waiting for a close below to take the short trade. I don't know. So it's 1 minute. It's not indecision, it's just a fight. You're waiting for your rules to be met. Does that make sense? So if my large chart was down with room, I'm waiting for a close below. Waiting for a close below. My large chart says up, I'm waiting for a break and a pullback. But you're absolutely right. They're trying to get their poop in a group. You don't have to do anything there. Just relax. Let them figure it out. And I love this one, and we talked about this one as well. So the triggers are up, they're strong. And I poked a little fun at you because you didn't put it on there. Right? It's up, it's strong, it's room. The first thing is, that's not a VWAP. I think you mentioned that that was a VWAP. That's a trend line. Did you mean to have trend lines on? That's a part of Chart Prime. I went through all of it, but you weren't here. You were teaching yoga. Cool. So if you don't want trend lines on, go to your Chart Prime Dynamics and go to Settings. And under Inputs, mine's already off. I'm going to find it for you here real quick. Right here. Under Chart Patterns, you probably have Triangle enabled. I disable everything in here because I don't run trend lines on my charts either. Cool. But it's awesome. It's everything up. It's strong. It's room. It's the perfect pullback right to an area. It's the greatest entry ever. You get in. And so can we go, and you didn't write it out, but I want to write it out for everybody in the room. What do I see? What does it mean to me? It's up. I'm looking for longs. It's strong. Big move look. 1 minute areas more likely to break. It's room. Let's make some money, right? So what happens is, by identifying direction, you know which way to look. By identifying where you are in the triggers, it makes this move more appealing. And because there's room, you feel good about it. So Wayne takes the perfect entry. And Wayne, I'm going to draw arrows because I love this. Buyers are in control, doing everything the large chart says. And Wayne says, my job is to get paid. My whole purpose in life is to make money. And I'm going to get paid right here. I'm going to make sure that there's some money in the bank. And the market continues up. And then the sellers say, Wayne, we want it to go down. And Wayne says, dude, we're on the strong side. We have odds favorable momentum. There's nothing in the way. You're more likely to go up than down. And that's exactly what they do. And Wayne says, well, the sellers tried to push it down, but they failed against all the advantages that got me in. I'm going to reduce risk. And then the sellers say, well, Wayne, we really would like to see it go down. And all that momentum says, we don't really care what you like. And the market goes back up. And Wayne says, man, the sellers failed again. I'm going to move my stop. And then he starts losing momentum, right? And he gets a close below. Uh-oh. And he notices, and this is pretty cool, Wayne says, I'm losing the same giddy up that was keeping me in. Every time I get an up bar, I'm just going to trail it because it feels like the end of the road. It feels like they're losing steam. And when they lose steam, that's where the bigger pullbacks come for the next trend trade. Wayne, I don't think that you could have managed this trade any better. It is the perfect entry based on trigger direction, based on strength, based on the pattern. And everything about it is logical. And it's a big move because the large chart said, hey, there's a really good shot for the big move. Nicely done. All right. That's what I was talking about. So that's your trend line, not your VWAP. I don't see a VWAP on your chart. Triggers are down. You're on the strong side. You do have odds favorable momentum. And you just jump the fudge in. Buyers fail. Buyers try and fail. It never held. It never got to it here, Wayne. You just jumped in. That's all it is. Large chart said down. Large chart said strong. Large chart had room to trouble. You had momentum. You were losing it when you jumped in. And sure enough, it doesn't just go straight down. You jump back in. And you take half off. Looks like you took half off on the first run. Nice, getting paid. I love that. Get paid. Wayne, you have a willingness to put money in the bank and then see what happens. And then it all starts to go your way. And you get paid again at the outer band. It's nicely done. It's just a jump the fudge in trade. That's it. It missed you by a tick. That's the worst. That's the worst. And it was down there at 34, getting close to the mid band. But guys, sometimes you're just going to jump the fudge in. You have to make decisions. I don't teach it. I don't teach you how to manage it. But if you're just jumping the fudge in, getting paid sure makes sense. I love that you did this. Guys, I want you to see this. We're going to start at the bottom. Good loss. Rules met, Wayne. Everything was perfect. It just didn't work out. Guys, when you know your plan, you know if it's a good loss or a mistake. And good losses don't shake you. Aggressive stop placement, chummed the waters. They stopped you out. You made 40 bucks. Fought the trend, formed an opinion, whipped the ever-loving snot out of you. Aggressive stop placement. They saw your stop. They came and took you out and probably went in the direction. And then with everything perfect, life gets pretty easy. I like it when you guys look at these. And Wayne, I hate to admit it because I teach the room and I'm not supposed to do stupid stuff. I'm not calling you stupid. If I had a nickel for every time I could have put that on my P&L sheet, I decided to go counter trend. I decided that instead of trading with the direction of the small triggers, I would beat the system. The system beats me almost every time. Great trading, Wayne. Great management. Trading from the middle of nowhere. I love it. I love it. Great stuff, man. All right, another one of the, nope, let's get to the live market. Odds favorable. No room. It's just no room. It made a fib. Printed divergence from the fib. Look at it zoom, baby. Guys, the S&P is respecting areas. It is respecting areas. Let's see what's going on over here. Triggers are down. Ooh, I like this look. Triggers are down. Transition. Does everybody see it? Triggers are down. Transition. My only area right now, the only spot I have is a mid-band up here. Small triggers rolled against me. There's a good chance they'll make it. But I want you guys to see something else. You guys see those yellow 1-to-1s right there on my large chart? If I take an entry at the mid-band, I'm trading directly into those 1-to-1s, right? And if I trade directly into those 1-to-1s, I'm breaking rules. Does that make sense, everybody? I'm excited about room to trouble down here, but because I see the 1-to-1s, because I see the area on my small chart, I have to say to myself, son of a gun, I can't trade into that area. And guys, this is a great usage of those trend lines. When you have a large chart area you need to trade from, not to, give yourself the visual. Give yourself the visual, right? Make it easy. Right to the termination condition. Man, we missed another one, didn't we? All right. The S&P is moving crazy. Let's watch it for a couple minutes. We got some lessons in there. Guys, while we watch the S&P, what do we see? We see price reached Fibonacci resistance. 3 divergences in the same price range from that resistance. We've got every reason in the world to not consider a long trade. So we're going to sit tight. We're going to wait for things to change. We're going to wait for advantages. We're going to wait for momentum. All right. Mark, do you ever say to yourself, on the 15-minute chart, there are 4 spikes down, meaning they have got there 4 times? I do think about it. I do think about it, Jen. But what I try to do, and this is where I get to have fun and poke right back at my brother. Oh, come back up. John said, sorry, had to. Large chart term means no more trend trades, usually on the small chart. It does 100% on Renko bars. On a Renko bar chart, you better believe there's no more trades into that area. On a trading view chart, they may test that area 4 times. These are 15-minute bars. And if I have room back and I know they've been there, Jen, I'll take and manage. Does that make sense? I will take and I will manage. Because I know that on a 15-minute bar, they may test an area 5 or 6 times. Right? And they did, didn't they? Look at the large triggers. When was the last time the large triggers were up? Right all the way back here, and it's been down ever since. So I'm watching, I'm aware, I know where I am in relationship, right? You know what's going to be the perfect storm, guys? Is if they dance around and screw around for a little bit, and that mid-band lines up somehow with the bottom of those 1-to-1s, and it pulls back to it, and it gives me a close below it, and then I've got just nothing but daylight going south. Does that make sense, guys? There's my mid-band. My triggers are down here, though. There's my danger zone. What's crazy, guys, is you'll get to a point to where you'll say to yourself, I love the momentum. I don't have a clear path. I'm not even going to look, right? And on Renko bars, that's one way to do it. Because price reached yellow 1-to-1s, because the triggers didn't break, my plan says don't take a pullback to an area inside of triggers, dummy. It's more likely to lose than it is to win. And it may still go up. And there you go. It may still go up. Does that mean that I need to change my rules? Or does it mean that I'm trading probabilities? I want you to see, more often than not, if price reaches an area and none of the triggers break, it stops the market. Do you guys see it? Price reaches an area, triggers don't break, the market goes up. Price reaches the area, triggers don't break, the market goes down. 3 divergences in the same price range, market goes up. Right to trouble, no triggers. There it goes down. Support becomes resistance, retest. Support is resistance, retest. They go down and hit the fib, no triggers, it doesn't break. They go up and hit resistance, no triggers, it doesn't break. Guys, you are literally putting yourself in the catbird seat by having momentum, by having path, by taking the pullback to the area inside of triggers, stop where the market shouldn't go if this is going to be a winner, and now you're at the mercy of the market. It's either going to go up or down, and it got us, but it fit the rules. And it looks like they're going to get us high tick. That's how quickly you will read your charts with a little practice. Those sons of guns. I put my stop in the wrong spot, guys. I didn't go 4 to 5 ticks above. I didn't go 4 or 5 ticks above. That would be it right there too, right? Pull back to the area inside of triggers. First target reached. Well, we made it back. They came for us again. Momentum, path, pull back to the area inside of triggers. Poor stop placement got me. Pulled back to get us. They said, hey, Mark, you made a mistake on your stop placement. We want you to have this trade. And sure enough, it's just going down. And guys, I use the KISS plan. I use the $300 profit plan, not the with this momentum, it's likely to go to the divergence low plan. We still have momentum. We still have a clear path. And guys, we still have an area inside of triggers. And until it hits that cyan line, my path is clear. My rules are met. I want the pullback. I want the bounce. And we're about to have to cancel. If they hit it, I'll cancel. If they don't, I'll enter if they give me a pullback. Does that make sense, everybody? Guys, it happens fast. Does anybody want the secret to slowing down the market? Let me close this out since we can't manage it. If you really want to slow the market down, go look at these pictures, NinjaTrader users. And I'm going to show you something pretty cool. If you go to the client trades and you click on those pictures, it's momentum, it's path, it's a pullback to an area inside of triggers. Whoop, that one's not there anymore. I'm just going random here. It's momentum, it's potential to break, it's pullback to the area inside of triggers. Got some dead links in here, guys, sorry. It's momentum, it's potential to break, it's pullback to the area inside of triggers. Why do we teach this one trade? Because it teaches you to recognize advantages. It's killing me here. Here's another one. It's momentum, it's potential to break, it's pullback to the area inside of triggers. Guys, this is from 2021. It's just a pattern. If you want to slow down the market, learn the patterns. And guys, you won't exit at a $200 profit target with a little bit of trust. You'll learn to hold it all the way down to the fib. That's the KISS plan management. Even after a loser, we get it all back. And now I don't have momentum. Colors don't match. I don't have a clear path. All the triggers aren't through. I can't go short here. I don't have rules met for long here. I'm sitting on my hands again. Does everybody see it? Raise your hands, guys. Is everybody, I want you to do this. This is going to be fun if you play along. Everybody find your raised hand emoji. Who has watched the market do all of this stuff and felt left out? Well, the market's moving and I'm not getting paid. The market broke that area and I didn't get paid. The market didn't have an area inside of triggers and I didn't get paid. The market went right here and I didn't get paid. The market went there and guys, the market, am I the only one? I'm the only one that has watched a market scramble and just wish that I was a part of it. Now here's the other part. You ready? That is all the movement in the S&P today. Nope, Tony, you lying. Guys, that is all the movement in the S&P today. I got highs up here around 66.85. I got lows down here at 65.95, guys. 90 points lower. $4,500 worth of movement on the way down. Is there anyone in the room that doesn't think they could find a way to make about $400, $500 waiting for the best of the best? Just $400 or $500 a day doesn't feel like a lot. Did you guys know that $400 a day times 252 trading days is $100,000 a year? Pretty insane, right? I would wager to say none of us in this room are making $100,000 a year on their trading yet. Learn how to get paid, guys. Home runs are awesome. Home runs are amazing. Home runs are fun. Base hits pay bills. Waiting for the best trade, taking the best trade, finding a way. Guys, this is the HVA trade. When the market reaches a termination condition on the large chart, John fudged a little bit on the smalls being above the large. The rules say below, but John's been doing this a while. Small triggers turn down. He sells the HVA from the termination and hopefully out at trouble. Sold the HVA from the termination and hopefully out at trouble because it's still very much an uptrend. But that termination gives a little opportunity. And John, you captured it perfect. Nicely done. Not yet, but you are break even. There's two types of traders in the world. There's the base hitters, right? I'm going to put $1,000 in my account $100 at a time. And then there's the people that insist on home runs. It's going to give me $1,000 in this trade or I'm going to die on my freaking sword trying to get it. Guys, there's times to hold for big moves. There's times to get paid quickly. I teach it every day in the room. And if you are on TradingView, hold on, where's it at? If you're on TradingView, it's very clearly outlined by where you are in relationship to the triggers. And if these are up and you're going down, aggressive is pretty nice. Make some money. Get to break even, like John Novak said, right? But if you're fighting, guys, there's no reason to fight. You don't have to fight. We're better than that. You guys know exactly what you're looking for. Still going down. Still going down. Guys, just so you know, John Novak, if you try to trade like John Novak, you're going to hurt yourselves. He's 27 years into it. He sees things 10 times faster than I'll ever see them. ES is nuts today. Guys, it's down. It's strong side. It's odds favorable. If you were going to take a momentum trade here, well, that was a horrible, horrible fill, but that was it. Your stop is behind, and you're hoping momentum continues to push down. Strong triggers, strong side, below trouble, pull back to the area behaving as resistance because it used to be support. That's what we call a momentum trade. And if your momentum trade fails, and they do, it'll probably turn into a trend trade in a little bit. But do you see how it breaks? It pulls back. It's strong triggers. The entry should have been at 22, not 07. I am 15 points away from the correct entry. But with the momentum, with the down from the strong side, the hope, not even the expectation, but the hope is that the sellers just keep doing what they're doing. That's a momentum trade. And John says, I'm just joshing with you, Mark. I'm getting out of trouble. It's counter trend. My job is to make money, not give it away. Nice trade, John. Great trade. Beautiful trade. Small triggers are turning up. If you're not in a trade, you're looking for trend trades, right? If you're in a trade, you might choose to exit. You might say, you know what? Who cares? I made $4,000 on my previous trade. I'm still up $1,500 on the day. Let's see what happens. But there we go. We get back above trouble. Small triggers roll up. Now the only option is a trend trade, but there's nowhere to go. This is why I don't give the momentum trades on the KISS plan, because momentum trades fail a lot. They're great when they work. They're very low risk, but they fail. And they typically turn into trend trades. So new users, you don't need it, but you might see it one day. Tail into momentum, nothing but a clear path. I don't have any areas inside of triggers. Rinse and repeat, guys. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to walk away for a few minutes. And if you have a question, I want you to post it in the room. And if you have a chart, I want you to post it in the room. If you have a comment on the state of the world, whatever, post it in the room. Let me know what you need from me, guys. I'll be back in about 3 or 4 minutes, and we will finish strong today. Man, the S&P is just nuts, right? Terminations for the win, over and over and over. And Andy, we saw this one. No, that's okay. That happens sometimes. You got it fixed, Paul. Good stuff. Pete says it's crazy. I agree. Guys, it's moving nuts, right? If you know your rules, if you know exactly what you're looking for, this is amazing. This isn't phasing at all. If you have to second guess, if you start saying, uh-oh, I'm not sure, I don't know, then you're going to make mistakes, right? Guys, when momentum trades fail, they go higher. Look at that. Pretty cool. Must have been asleep. No, they stick to your clipboard, Andy. They will stick to your clipboard, and you think that you copied it, and then you didn't. I've done it. Everyone in this room has done it at least 10 times. Guys, when price reaches Fibonacci support, large triggers are a full bar away. That's the gap theory. That tells you absolutely no short trades yet. Let it close the gap, and then they'll make a decision on whether or not they want to keep going up or whether or not they want to go back down. And it looks like they decided they would rather go up. Now we have a termination that reversed the market. Don't have momentum yet. Don't have a setup for a trend trade. Triggers didn't break. And because the triggers didn't break, none of you took the long trade. And because none of you took the long trade, you didn't take the loser. Way to follow rules. You guys like the live reads? It's fun, right? You guys want to see something cool? This just happened. Everybody sees it, right? The market came up. Watch this. The market came up, pushed down to support. Large triggers didn't follow. Retested trouble. And then started down. Let me show you something kind of neat. I think it's neat. I mentioned that the market moves in patterns, and I do it a lot, guys. You're going to hear that from me all day long. But until you get the seat time and you start to see it, you're like, oh, whatever, patterns. So this is from termination conditions section, guys. And this particular picture was taken in 2021 for your educational enjoyment. And price reached trouble, pulled all the way back to support. The triggers didn't follow. Came back, retested, and then went down. Look familiar? The market does the same thing over and over. Nexgen has put 3 triggers. Oh, are we going to get a trade? Are we going to get a trade? Momentum, potential to break. If divergence prints, oh, it doesn't fit my plan. Guys, John has like 75,000 pictures on his computer of patterns. 75,000 pictures of the market doing the same thing. I'm up to 18,000. Oh, I'm one short of 18,000 on images. When we talk about patterns, it's not because we've seen it once, guys. When we talk about rules, it's not that we've seen it once. It's because if you see this 100 times, it's more likely to do this 60 of them at least. Momentum, potential to break. 1 divergence kills my rules. 2 divergences really kills my rules. Thank goodness I have a plan. I didn't take a loser. The difference between successful traders and those of you that are struggling is very often the willingness to do nothing when there is nothing to do. Great entries based on having an edge, based on having an advantage, set the tone. And when you take the correct entry, you are more likely to win than you are to lose. You're never guaranteed, but if you follow a recipe, something that is testable, something that is provable, something that is verifiable, something that you put the study in, You get into trades and you say things and it sounds arrogant. I don't care if they hit my stop. I'm more likely to win this than I am to lose. I don't care if they push higher. I'm not even in this trade. And guys, if we end up with momentum and path, we'll look for the short trade. But while they fight it out right at a key Fibonacci area, I don't have to be in it. I don't have to hope the market goes down because the background is red, right? I don't have to wish the market would go up because the small triggers are up. I just have to sit on my hands for a second and wait for it to be perfect. I know I sound preachy sometimes when I start doing this, but there's lessons that all of you are going to learn. And the fewer moving parts you put in front of yourself as a brand new user, the easier it is to learn the software, the faster you're going to learn the software, and the highest chance of success you're going to end up having as the brand new user. So there's my segue. We're going to take a breather. The key to everything is having a foundation. Learning momentum, learning path, learning entry, guys. So for brand new users, y'all get blanketed. Very conservative rules. Focus on your recognition of advantages. Here's a solid plan that optimizes your chances of success. And oh my gosh, even more, here is unlimited feedback during classroom. All you have to do is ask a question. So for all of you brand new users, and you're watching me watch the market and say no trade, no trade, no trade, all terminations are bad. No momentum is bad. Areas beyond the triggers are bad. And they're not always. But until you know when to use the exception, it's just safer that way. Blanket rules. It optimizes success. So learn the process that yields results, guys. There is a recipe. There is a process. It is repeatable. It is testable. It is verifiable. It is a 100% confidence building recipe to teach you to read your indicators. And the further you deviate, the longer it's going to take. So give yourself a little grace. You're new. Learn the best. Look at that. Rules weren't met. Another avoided loss. So what have we done? Have we taken more winners or avoided more losers? I feel like we've avoided more losers. So John still refuses to annotate a chart, but his triggers are up. He's on the weak side of triggers. He has room to trouble. It pulls back. He gets in on the correct side. He's got to stop below the pivot low. 1-to-1s and outer band are the first potential targets, but John says, I'm John freaking Novak. I want a home run. And we'll see. Maybe he gets it. Maybe he gets it. Preacher that can't stand his ground, get out of the pulpit. Preaching is fine. Thank you for that. Guys, I promise you, your trading is your trading. Your entries are your entries. Your management is your management. And the more you put into learning the software, the more opportunity you're going to find. I have 3 triggers through. I have all the momentum I could ever hope for, but now I don't have areas inside of triggers. And suddenly, as a brand new user following the KISS plan, it's off my radar. I'm no longer looking. And now I'm losing the momentum to push the market. I'm no longer looking. And I don't care what happens. Because now my triggers are up. And I'm on the strong side. Yeah, he just uses arrows, right? But Paul, if you're a brand new user, could you repeat this trade based on 2 green arrows? I couldn't. I've tried. I can't. Annotation is for you guys. Look at that. Up, strong, room, pull back to the mid band, close on the correct side, and guys, it's running. I hope somebody's in this long trade making money. I hope somebody was present for the trend trade and making money, because that's a good one. Triggers are up. It went through, right? Second lower divergence. It blew through. And then you work into the continuation trades. We're not even going to talk about those today. Do you guys want to do the chart read real quick? We weren't here for it. This is why watching multiple markets will mess with you. The triggers are up. What does that mean? That means Only longs per the plan. Not me telling you you can only take longs, but the plan says only longs. I'm on the strong side. We'll just say giddy app. That's the good stuff. And I've got room. Now, if you're a word person like I am, because the smalls roll down, I need the market to go lower to an area. This is for you, Miss Trina. Mid-band, 1-to-1 zone, and close on weak side of triggers. That's what the rules say. So I know about my entry 5 bars first. That's the first one that fits the bill. That's a pretty outstanding target based on the large chart read. Wayne would have a stop below that down bar, I believe, with weaker triggers. He would say, you know what? It's likely to go up here, but the sellers tried and failed. He already gets paid. He's locking in, and we'll see what it does. My plan says bigger moves are more likely, but not guaranteed. My plan also says don't be afraid to get paid. And if you got in at 43.25 on a 4 lot, by the time you got up here to 80, you're up $540 per contract with absolutely no reason to exit. Congratulations, it just went to your target. So from, we'll just call it 43 to 603. Hold on, let's get my calculator. So that's 60 points at 20 bucks a point, $1,200 per contract, one trade, rules-based, absolutely perfect, did everything the large chart suggested that it would, and there it is. Now here's the question, who had the testicular fortitude to hold for the target based on the large chart read? That takes a while. That takes a while, without a doubt. You entered perfectly and did not hold. That's okay. Why not? Because you don't trust it yet, Pablo. You don't trust it yet. Here's the cool thing. If I'm $500 in my account, right? Or let's just say I have all the room in the world and I say, I'm going to take $200 and I'm going to get paid, right? If I'm at break even, but my worst case scenario is $200, let it run. You guys will get to that point where you're like, okay, I'm in, I've been paid, I'll go break even, right? Hell, I'll even leave $100 on it. I can't lose this trade. And it does exactly what the chart said. So guys, if you're jumping out quick, you don't trust. If you are entering early, you don't trust. If you're entering late, you don't trust. How do you develop trust? Repetition, guys. Doing the same thing over and over. Seeing the patterns repeat over and over. That's how you get there. Does anyone golf in the room? Has anyone ever had their best round of golf because they wanted to have their best round of golf? Or did you get your best round of golf because you played at the highest level and maybe a little luck every now and then? Everything is up, nothing in the way. The area is on the wrong side of the triggers. You get in with the reversal bar. 1 divergence, 2 divergence, and you panicked, and that's okay. You panicked. You made a tick, and that's okay. And then when it doesn't break out, it's all right. You didn't give it up. Boaz, it went sideways. It went sideways. You didn't have the momentum to push it. You did have a clear path, and your small chart was showing change. That's a tough hold. You didn't lose money. I think that's outstanding. It's hard to hold through 3 divergences. And they really didn't even give you an opportunity for re-entry. And guys, they're just crushing it to the upside right now. They're just crushing it to the upside right now. And if you took this trade and held it up to trouble, like the large chart said was most likely to happen, you're done. You're going to golf. Or you guys up north, you're on your way to build a snowman, right? And now we're into the VWAP. And man, I got to be above that VWAP. Those are tough. ES just blasted through stacked terms. Guys, it is strong trending, without a doubt. It is strong trending. I don't know what it is. But I don't have rules met, and probably won't for a while. And I really don't have rules met, and may not for a little bit. So I'm just going to breathe deep, and I'm going to ask you guys, what do you think would help you? Moham, I know you're still relatively new. Is there a concept that you keep hearing but you're not clear on? Let me clear it up for you. Z-Robot, did you catch the lesson on what slippage was? Samuel, it's always great to see your face in the room. Is there anything I can do to help you? Slippage is the difference between the expected price of the trade and the actual price at which it's executed. Does that make sense, Z-Robot? So if I'm trying to get it at 100 for a long trade, but I don't get in until 105, I got slipped. Or if I try to get in at 100 short, right, and I don't get in till 98, I got slipped a couple ticks. So slippage is a really fast thing that happens. Market volatility, low liquidity. You just can't get the price that you wanted. Does that make sense? That's the first answer. So what you had wasn't slippage. What you had was overrun. You were hoping that the mid-band would hold, but they overran it a little bit lower. But Z-Robot, the one thing that you didn't have on any of the trades you presented was an area inside of triggers. You neglected the language for rule number 3. And because you neglected the language, you didn't know if, when, or where that market was going to continue. I think I took a picture of it. Hold on. There we go. So because you don't know if, when, or where those reversal bars pay dividends, are you not using dynamic Renko for a reason? I'm just curious because John Novak went to great lengths to give you the perfect setup using dynamic Renko, and it looks like you've changed your bars out to something else, and I'm not sure what they are. But the plan, the rules, all of that is designed around Renko. You just fill in the tail? Okay, cool. That makes sense. I was like, man, it looks different. You're a rebel. I like it. Took your quick profits, double outer bands, 1-to-1s. We'll buy 15-minute zone if it comes back to stop everyone out like they do sometimes. John, it's the perfect exit. It's the perfect exit on such a great trade. Took your profits, and now you want to see if they're going to break out. You're up, your strong side, you have room. They broke the 1-to-1s. They pulled back to the 1-to-1s. The only thing you don't have is momentum. You don't have momentum to push through, to give you that jump the fudge in momentum, warm, fuzzy feeling. You had it here and it didn't work. But they're angled up. Keep us in the loop, John. Can't wait to hear what happens. Termination. Divergence, divergence, little change of direction. Guys, in a strong trending market, one of the greatest lessons John Novak ever got me is you're going to be tempted to try the short. Until these large triggers roll over and head down, the shorts are more likely to fail than win. Does that make sense, everybody? In a strong trending market, your desire to be first, to go the other direction, will be huge. Until these large triggers roll, they're going to be difficult. You're going to see the dance. And that's exactly what you're seeing here. How many shorts could you take? Oh, I got to go short. Oh, I got to go short again. Oh, I should go short, right? And they just keep dancing on you. Let it be perfect. Your money's worth it. And then once you get so good at it being perfect, the likelihood of you wanting it to be anything other than perfect is pretty slim. Pretty slim. All right, we got about 20 minutes. You guys want to go play video poker? My triggers are up. I just don't have anywhere to run. Probably nothing for me to do. Have to wait. I have to wait. And Tom Petty will tell you the waiting's the hardest part, guys. Oh my gosh, they still didn't go down despite 3 divergences, despite Fibonacci. Strong trending market, my friends. Boom, exhibit A. You know, John Novak used to do that in the room. I would be going short right here thinking that I was going to catch the top of the move. And then right about the time I'm getting absolutely slaughtered, John Novak is saying, well, strong trending market. They're fighting. All my triggers are above the fibs. It's more likely to go up than down. Does that make sense? All of my triggers are above the fibs. It is more likely to go up than down. I don't have rules met yet. But at least I'm like, whoa, I'm not going short. That is a textbook termination condition. That fits the bill 100%. Force them, guys. Force them to give you what you want. We're not even, I don't know why I did that. You guys want to use that trend line again? There's your VWAP. I'm not taking a trade from below it. That would be trading directly into termination conditions. Man, Victor, it's fast, isn't it? Renko bars are pretty quick. I love them, though. Once you know your patterns, it's like slow motion. It's like trading in molasses. Minute bars are way slower. The one thing you will get on minute bars is sometimes you'll end up with a pretty good amount of risk. Like that one white bar right there is a $300 bar. Just the body is $300 bar. If you got to close above the triggers right here, 35 to 65, that's a $600 per contract risk. That's a lot. That's a lot where you're hoping the VWAP breaks, right? That's a lot when there's not a ton of room up to trouble. Risk is, you guys will define it as a number. I think risk is better defined the odds of the trade winning. If I know I've got a 70% chance of a trade winning, the numerical is just that. It's just a number. Risky is when I'm on the weak side of triggers and trading into stuff, right? Risky is when I'm trying to go counter trend when I really shouldn't. Price reaches Fibonacci support. Large triggers are a full bar away from a weak top. Guys, you think they're looking for 78 today? Patterns would suggest that's exactly what they're looking for. We'll see. They'll probably close the gap to the triggers. There'll be a little dance right here at 55 as they make decisions. Do they really want it to go down? Or do they want to get above this area and continue up? I don't have to guess. I don't have to guess. But from a bad top back to support, gap theory is over. Odds favorable, momentum up, small triggers rolling. There's a good chance they want to keep going up. But I don't have rules for up. Not yet. And I don't have rules for down because of the termination. But watch, if these small triggers break up above, that's your momentum trade from a strong bottom. Not guaranteed, but that's your one shot at more up, and it didn't work because you don't have momentum. And it didn't work because it's below the fib. That's your opinion trade. It has to, not rules met. I like taking losers in front of you guys, because that is a big opinion trade. Because of the bad top, it has to keep going up. It doesn't. If it's really going to go up, guys, they're going to give you momentum. They're going to give you clear path. If it's really going to go down, they're going to give you momentum. They're going to give you a clear path. While they try to figure out what the heck they want to do, you can sit on your hands. You can go make a sandwich. Go make pancakes. Pancakes are delicious. There was your close above. There it was reaching trouble from the strong side of triggers. Pretty cool, right? From 65 to 85. Does anyone like $400 per contract based on a rules-based trade? I do. I think it's pretty kick-ass. Did anyone take it? Did anyone say, wow, my rules are met, I have to take this trade because it's in my plan? That's your trade. That's it. Does anyone not understand why that's your trade? Is anyone still listening? The triggers are up. I'm on the strong side. It's clear. Price breaks away from the area, pulls back to the area, closes on the correct side of the triggers, and continues right up to the payday. This is the pattern. This is the pattern, guys. If you're not sure about the pattern, raise your hand. If you're not sure about the large chart read, raise your hand. If you're not sure why exiting at 1-to-1s inside of a zone is a good idea, raise your hand. But that was the perfect trade. That was the trade that fits the KISS plan 100%. I'm not smart enough to make this stuff up. John Novak did it. But I'm pretty good at teaching it. So what happened? Now we're pulling back to the area. I'm on the strong side of the triggers. I still have room to trouble. Does it fit the rules if we get a close on the correct side of the triggers? If you're on simulator, my friends, take them all, annotate them, talk about them. If you're on simulator, you can't lose money. If you're on simulator, you can't lose. You just learn. It's like the batting cages. It's like the driving range, right? If I get a close on the correct side of the triggers, my large chart says mid-band and zone's a pretty good option. My small chart says, hey, if you have 1-to-1s inside of a zone and an outer band, what a great target. I've got 39 seconds before I'll ever have an idea of whether or not I should be in the market. 30 seconds until I know whether or not my rules are met. 24 seconds until I know if I'm going to have a close on the correct side of the triggers. Victor, trend trade. Triggers are up. Price is on the strong side. Space to the next area. Small chart. Price closes on the correct side of the triggers. Got you in at 71. Out at trouble. What a great trade. 355. I couldn't teach it any better than you presented it, Victor. And sometimes they don't give you your entry. Was it easy? Was it effortless? Did you need white bar patterns? Did you need it to prairie dog outside of zones? Did you need to hope stuff breaks? No. Does anyone else have a grandma that would smack your hand away from the hot stove? Grandparents would do better to let you burn your hand on that stove, guys. Because if you don't make mistakes in life, how are you going to learn how to fix them? 3, 2, 1. There's your close above. Got a little bit of risk on this one, wouldn't you say? There's trouble again. You think they'll make it? I don't know. But my large chart says I got a pretty good chance, doesn't it? And since it's strong side, could we put that up there? But because we know this is problematic, take most of them off where the problems lie. If they get there, awesome, we'll go break even. If they don't, we're going to take a pretty big hickey. But my large chart says up, strong side, nothing in the way. Oh man, they tapped us. They tapped us and didn't fill us. This is twice in front of a live crowd. Because they already reached the target, is there any reason I can't go break even and say, you know what, they got there. There's no reason to leave risk on the trade anymore. They're either going to hit it again or they're not. But I'm not going to lose money. There we go. I'm not going to lose money because I should have been up a couple thousand right there. They just didn't fill it. Is that breaking through? I do have an XRP chart. Elvis, good morning. All right, Trina, are you with me? When price was right here, you were below the 1-to-1s. You were below a mid band for a fraction of a second. A fraction of a second. If you were waiting for a pullback, you were trading directly back into it. And right now, you're directly at a 1-to-1. Do you see it? That's not breaking through. This is your small chart. To break through, Trina, means to break away and then pull back. To literally break away, to see a bar get below it and then pull back. Let's see if we can find a real world example. Oh, look at that. They got me. I chickened out. So up strong. Where is my chart? That was a trend trade right there. There's your pullback to the 1-to-1s. There's your close above, Trina. That was it right there. So what were you looking at? You were looking at up, strong, room, pull back to the area. Why would you want to close below? That's not a break below. That's pulling back to the area. There's your close above. And it's still going up. Does that make sense? What direction are you thinking here? You should only be looking for longs, right? I want to make sure that we're reading the same thing. The small triggers are up, right? Only long trades. Yes. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so let's go through it. I'm on the strong side. I can't spell. That's my yippee look. I love it. And I've got nothing but room. Did we read the large chart the same? 100%? You're good with that? Cool. So the second the small triggers roll against me, Trina, My job is to look for an area that's lower. Do you see the yellow 1-to-1s in the mid band? This is your pullback to the area. So you started looking for your trade up here. That's your pullback to the area. That's your close on the correct side. So you're at the area. It pulled right back to the mid band. It pulled right back to the 1-to-1s. These don't have to break. You're hoping they don't break. You're hoping that they bounce and send you in the direction of the large chart. Does that make sense? And not that you would ever do this to me, but okay typically means stop talking. I don't want to hear it anymore. Okay, so let's go find the other lesson, Trina. Okay? Because the one you're thinking of, and let's use the HVA as an example because it's a live market. So let's say you're looking for this area to break. Whoops. In order for me to consider this HVA to be broken, and let's just pretend it's a fib or something, okay? What I want to see is I want to see a bar. So here it peaks ahead. Do you see how it starts above it? Now we're breaking away from the area. So now, if let's say we're looking for a trend trade and HVAs aren't entry areas, but if I were looking for a momentum trade or something, now I could say, hey, now it can pull back because it's no longer behaving as resistance. Now it's broken. Price got above it, and if it pulls back to it, I'm really hoping it behaves as support. It's not a trend trade. A trend trade has to come from down here, from an actual area. But that's a good example. So if you're watching in the moment and you don't see that full movement away from it, and what I like to see is I'd like to see the body of the bar close. I want to see it close above. I want the idea that yes, price got away from it, price closed above it, they stayed above it, and now this area, if it were an actual area, see how it pulled back to it and then bounced up? Does that make sense? Good lesson. Thank you for saying that. So it has to be under the right context. If I'm looking for a momentum trade, that's my look, that full break and pull back. But if I'm looking for a trend trade, my pullback is that huge move that comes down to the area that I want to trade from. Awesome stuff. And Sword Trader, that's one you needed too? Good stuff. And guys, this isn't an area, so I'm not expecting it to hold or break. But here we go again. Here, I've pulled back to the area. In order for this area to consider broken, I need to see some good stuff happening way below. The same way that little peak above, that wasn't a break here. But check this out, Trina. They get out, they get away, they pull above, and then they pull back to it, and it behaves as support. That would be for a momentum trade. If you were going to have that quick break and pullback, that would be for a momentum trade. But Trina, what don't you have over here? You didn't have momentum when it did it. There's no trade here. I can't stress that enough. But yes, if you were looking for the momentum trade here, let me bring up a picture so it's not moving. I've got it. That's it. There we go. Coming up. I love these questions, guys. This is how you get to where you want to be. See how here it's resistance. Then it breaks away. And then it pulls back. And that's your momentum trade. But it's that separation that makes it effective. If you just try it right here, Trina, it's not broken yet, and it could still drop lower and turn into a trend trade. Congratulations, Victor. Locked in the drawdown. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Awesome. Good lesson, Miss Trina. Thank you for that. All right, now here we go. We're up. Right now we're strong. Because the small triggers turn against me, my only option for a trade is to pull back to an area and get a close on the correct side of the triggers. Does that make sense? I don't need anything to break yet. This says up, this says strong, these triggers rolled. That's it. I called my shot. It's a trend trade. That's it. If my small triggers are down, I have no other option. Great lessons. Do the same thing every day. Learn your pattern, guys. And we're going to keep running the room like this. We're going to keep going through the idea that with some live chart reads, hopefully you begin to pick up a little bit, right? But I can't tell you enough, and this is how I'm going to end classroom today. I give you a plan with all of the rules, right? I give you the opportunity to post in the room, to get feedback, to ask questions, to get lessons, to get clarity on anything that you're unclear on. I hope that you're watching in the room and you're seeing through clients trades, through the live trading, educational, that the system works. You just got to learn the system, and we're committed to teaching it. And we keep it simple. There's only 3 items on the checklist. And guys, Nexgen gives you the analysis, the rules, the coaching. I love my job. I get giddy about being here with you guys. But it's up to you to take the pictures. It's up to you to present in the room. It's up to you to ask questions when you're not sure. I'm here to help, but you have to do your part. And, you know, I need a room full of Trinas. I need a room full of Pauls, a room full of Victors. People with the courage to say, hey, this is what I did. I saw up, I saw strong side. I took the entry on the close on the correct side, and I got paid over here. And then when it pulled back, I did it again, and I got paid again. Nicely done, Victor. 2 trend trades in a row. 2 perfect trades in a row. Great job. It doesn't have to be hard, guys. But there's this fear among humans, and I'm not even going to say traders. There's this fear among humans to be wrong. There's this idea that we all get, and I'm going to go ahead and close